Hello and welcome back to the Cfctalk podcast. If you remember last week or last episode, we had a Man City fan, Pranay from Tackle from Behind, on the podcast, discuss a little bit about Man City and what, how things look like from their perspectives in terms of the players that they've let go, and Erling Haaland coming in. And tonight we're joined by the one and only Amana Singh, all the way from Sony Sports Network. Thank you for joining us. And I know I think we've spent the last 2 or 3 weeks just trying to plan a date that works for both of us, and finally we've gotten some time. Manas, welcome to the podcast. How are you feeling? How is your transfer window gone so far the last few weeks? And we know what are your thoughts, your quick thoughts on in general about Liverpool and their signings this summer?
First of all, Mohammed, thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry if this was a pain to schedule.
Not at all, not at all. I genuinely, I was looking forward to this podcast for quite a while because I've been wanting to interact with you on the podcast for quite a while, and finally I thought, you know what, I'll try and text him and see if he does reply, and I can get him on. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me once again. Speaking of the transfer window, Liverpool's transfer window, man, as usual, we got the business done early. We got the guys that we wanted pretty early. I'm very excited for Darwin Núñez. I don't know why. I don't know when this is going to air, but he's played 2 friendly games so far, 65 minutes, and people are just having a go at him. I don't know why. He's just going to settle in eventually. And I think it's a signing which is going to take some time. Because he hardly speaks the language. He's hardly been in the city of Liverpool. Liverpool have not played with the number 9 in the Jurgen Klopp era. So it's something interesting. We've potentially paid our club record fee if we add the add-ons. So Klopp knows what he's doing, and our recruitment has been great. So I'm super excited about that. Fabio Carvalho is a player I am so excited to see, and I think the world is going to look back and say 5 million. That's it. That is what Liverpool paid for Fabio Carvalho. I'm not saying this season he's going to be brilliant. Yeah. I think over the course of his Liverpool career, we're going to see something special. I'm more excited about Fabio Carvalho developing into a new player because he's a very Jurgen Klopp project.
Yeah.
Molding a signing from the Championship no one was talking about. So it's a very Jurgen Klopp signing. And Calvin Ramsey, of course, is going to be the backup for Trent because Nico Williams has joined Nottingham Forest. We've let go of a few players. Of course, Origi left, Sadio Mane being the biggest person who exits. We've got the likes of Ben Davis leaving, a few others leaving, Minamino leaving, maybe Nat Phillips makes a move. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but yeah, I'm happy with the window. But we're competing with Manchester City,
and Chelsea.
So when I say we, I mean when I support Liverpool, but the team to beat is Manchester City, right?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
So I meant that. So they've made some good signings, and it looks like Cucurella is going to be another signing that they make. So when you go like for like with Manchester City, it's very tough to compete with them, especially on the financial front. So I know what Jurgen Klopp is up to. There are some people who are stating that we should be going for a midfielder, but if Jurgen Klopp feels that this is enough, I'm confident that this is enough.
I think with Darwin Núñez, which what I've heard a lot of Liverpool fans say, and would you agree to this, is because we've seen the spending Klopp has done since his time at Liverpool, and it's been very calculated, and he's made sure, he's put the money at the right place compared to some like, a team like Chelsea who straight up buy out whatever the asking price is, maybe negotiate a little bit, but at the end of the day, they pay what the club is asking for. In terms of Núñez, do you think Liverpool might have overpaid for him? And I don't know if you saw the article that was released on Twitter among fans, and what the authenticity of that article is, of Benfica being surprised that Liverpool would even ask upwards of £100 million for Núñez, including add-ons.
I think if we include the add-ons, it will end up being 85. So it's 65 million pounds up front and 85 million if the add-ons. Anyway,
Right.
the money is not
Yeah,
important.
it's sorry, the conversion. I'm reading the price in euros, which is
Yeah,
why
yeah, yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah, yeah. But in general, is a footballer worth 65 million pounds? In general, I don't think he or she is. But the Neymar saga has ruined everything for everyone. I think Neymar joining PSG, the ultimate winners were Liverpool, because they got the money, they signed Coutinho, and we got Van Dijk and Allison. So this is the first time we've seen. See, if it is the club record fee, so this is the first time, of course, we've paid that much money. It's obvious, but the reality is that if Jurgen Klopp feels that Jurgen Klopp has never signed a striker. Dominic Solanke was the only
Yeah.
striker we signed, and that went into tribunal and whatever. So if he feels that this is a player at the age of 23 that can work in my system and I can make him better, and knowing how our owners work, there is a resale value, of course, attached to this player as well. So if he clicks, this 65, 85 million might end up being justified. Some might even say a bargain. Yeah, it might just end up being a bargain as well. But stranger things have happened. He could end up being a failure. Let's not discount that. And I hope it's not. And I'm very confident he won't be a failure at Liverpool, because everything under the Jurgen Klopp era suggests that he should work when it comes to recruiting. So I see, I mean, on Twitter, people are going to say what they want to say, right?
Yeah.
It's Twitter. Twitter is like a bathroom wall, right? So each and everyone has their opinion, and it's good that they have their opinion. But if you take each and every opinion way too seriously, you won't be able to live, man, happily. So let the guy at least play 90 minutes once in a Liverpool shirt,
Yeah.
and let's then say whether he is up to speed or not, or is he a work in progress? Is he the finished product? What are you having, by the way?
I'm having some Sprite and apple juice on the
Oh,
site there.
okay, fair.
Um, no, but I think you're right in terms of a lot of people with their opinions on Twitter, and what they think of their signing, thinking they've got more experience than everyone at the boardroom at Liverpool, who have
It's all
probably
it's all
yeah
started by opposition fans. I
yeah
mean, every narrative is, let's be honest, every negative narrative is, because it's it's fun, man. I mean, people enjoy, people have a giggle, people have a laugh. They created a compilation of Nunes in 60 odd minutes, missing few chances,
yeah.
few bad passes. I mean, I giggled. I'm not going to take it
No,
seriously.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think in terms of one of our signings, Raheem Sterling, which was the most surprising part. Man City fans creating edits of his misses and his open goal chances that he's missed in the past year, and I was like, I'm sorry, he is one of your legends, and you're doing that. So
Yeah,
it is yeah, it's a bit of a shit show, if you want to call it, on Twitter in terms of
yeah,
transfers and when this year comes around.
yeah.
But yeah, going back to the topic of you talking about, maybe Nunes being a failure of a striker, not hopefully not, but Chelsea. If you want some thoughts of a Chelsea's fans, we can give you a whole list of. We've got a roll of strikers who have not succeeded at Chelsea. So our experience hasn't been as good as, I would say,
But
Liverpool
Mohammed,
and Man City's.
there's a huge difference, right? Because I mean, at Liverpool, the final say and the say
Yeah,
was by Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp. They
yeah.
worked together so well. Chelsea, I understand where you're coming from, but Roman had a huge say in everything at Chelsea. So I mean, the Torres, the Shevchenkos,
It was quite opposite. I will add. Sorry for cutting you off, but I think
yeah,
during Mourinho's time at Chelsea, because he had achieved so much before coming, and then
yeah,
what he did at Chelsea the first two seasons he was here at 2004, 2005, it
yeah.
almost was like if he wanted a signing, Roman would say, right, we're getting this player, whatever the cost is, because of the trust that he had on uh,
Of course.
with Mourinho. And then
Uh, uh,
until with Marina coming in as the club director, we've kind of taken a back seat and gone, okay, let's assess our transfers before we spend. We still do. I must say, we still do spend quite a lot on transfers every year.
So am I wrong in saying that Abramovich never made a signing in his Roman Abramovich being
I think
him? Like,
he did, but there was a lot of Granskaya had a lot of say in it as well, because I think Roman was a lot more disconnected in the sense of he wouldn't handle day-to-day business, but every now and then he would be at
Yeah.
matches. He would make sure he knows what's going on, and he would fund the club and give the the money that was required by the club, but never in
Yeah.
the sense of come in and discuss signings. For
So
as you know,
sorry, it's very fascinating. Is or was Lukaku someone that Tuchel really wanted himself?
from what I've heard, Lukaku was favored at Chelsea, and the fans were keen on it. And then with that, it was like we needed a striker because Batshuayi at Chelsea wasn't working out. Werner and Kai Havertz, were struggling, and we wanted a number 9, someone who can bully the opposition, bully the defenders, and which is why, and with the stats that Lukaku had with Inter, it was a no-brainer, and it almost felt like Inter need. It was a great trade deal because Inter wanted the money, and they wanted to they were ready to sell Lukaku for whatever came, and Chelsea bought him out. And then when we saw him at the first season, a lot of us fans were saying, give him another season. We're fine with that. But then his antics off the pitch was what put off a lot of Chelsea fans, and and the things that he said in the media, which as a professional player, you should not be saying publicly, at
Yep.
least. And that's what caused this whole saga of him going back for 9 millions. And still, it's not just Lukaku, but going back to Morata, Torres to a certain extent, we haven't had that incredible number 9. Going back all the way, I guess Drogba was there, and then the recent one would be Diego Costa.
Yeah. A few hit and misses. Like I would even say Crespo
Yeah.
was Shevchenko. Like you guys signed some great names, but it
Yeah.
didn't work out. So
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hope that's not the case with Darwin Nunes.
No, I think he's 23. It's a very different situation. And I talk about Haaland the same way as well. I say these guys are young. They're ready to adapt to a new formation or a new style of play under Klopp and Pep, respectfully. Whereas someone compared to Lukaku, who was so comfortable playing at Inter Milan at the age of 28 under Antonio Conte, that when he came to Chelsea, and it was a totally different thing, and the setup was totally different, that he genuinely did struggle. And when he went to Inter Milan, and the first thing he said in his interview was, the system was very different. I wasn't able to fit in. And it's like, when you at Chelsea, we've got so many star players right now that we can't build a team around one. We have to adapt to everyone's skill level to play when we were playing games. But in terms of, we talked about Man City being direct rivals at the moment, and being the champions of England. They've brought in Erling Haaland, which is, one of the, I guess, youngest one of the most prolific young strikers available in the market right now. But then they've also let go of Sterling, Jesus, and Zinchenko. What are your thoughts on Man City, and whether they'll be able to give Liverpool a run for the points in the Premier League?
Manchester City, just like Liverpool, and I would say even Chelsea, they have a strong identity, with their managers, and as long as they have the managers intact, they are in good hands. And I mean, probably the best 3 managers in world football, man, are at these clubs. Sure, Manchester City have let go of goals, but they have got Alvarez, who is going to be someone. Have been reading a few articles. We can expect quite a bit from Alvarez. Haaland, I mean, what a signing, dude. What a fucking signing. Sorry for my language.
No, I think no other club even tried to poach him out or hijack that deal.
It's
because
just for the money that they got him for, and the you could say that Mbappe is the finished product, but Haaland probably is on par, and still you feel there's another gear. And he probably has the best coach in world football coaching him. That's Pep. He will get the best out of Erling Haaland. Then for a backup, they've got who's the guy from Leeds? I'm forgetting.
Oh,
in midfield,
Calvin
man.
Phillips. Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips
Calvin Phillips.
to replace Fernandinho.
Yeah.
So he's going to be. So that's the caliber that Manchester City are playing at, man. They are buying 40-50 million midfielders as a backup. Um, and sure, Zinchenko is left, but if Cucurella signs for them, man, that's a pretty decent signing as well, because he
Yeah.
did very well at Brighton. I'm sure, yeah, just the one season, but he was the player of the season. He caught everyone's eye. His contract is till 2026, so I think they're gonna like probably pay more than 40 million for him. Uh, as long as they don't let go of Bernardo Silva, or Bernardo Silva doesn't push for a move for Barcelona, I think Man City have replaced goals. They've replaced their left back. They have replaced Fernand. They've upgraded on Fernandinho. Fernandinho in his prime was great, but they've upgraded with Fernandinho. Some might say they have upgraded with Cucurella. They've probably got the best striker in the world now. They've got Phil Foden, who's going to, shift into another gear. A more mature Phil Foden. They've got probably the best midfielder in the world in Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So I don't think Man City have weakened by any stretch of the imagination. Sure, it might, what might not work for Manchester City is how these players settle in initially. If they take time to get into the gear, that's the only hope I think the others have. Because I won't be surprised if in the midst of this World Cup season, these guys get 95, 96, 97 points again.
Yeah.
This is a season like no other, man. It's going to be cramped.
Agreed.
There's going to be injuries. There's going to be COVID cases, unfortunately. I still think Man City are going to get 95 odd points. That's how good they look on paper, man.
I sometimes look at the Man City squad and said, why are we even bothering with transfer signings? Like, no way are we, close to Man City and the depth that they have in their squad, especially with all the rumors of, Werner wanting to leave or Ziyech getting offers from AC Milan and all that sort of stuff. And with Man City, it's almost like, yes, they've let go, as you said, let go of players who have the potential, and especially Zinchenko, which was a surprising one because he's quite young. A team like Man City would never let go of Zinchenko. But do you have any concerns of Man City, selling their players to their direct rivals? Chelsea getting hold of Sterling, and we saw, and us Chelsea fans were very, very impressed with his performance against Charlotte FC in the preseason game. And he was, quoting Alex Goldberg here, but he said he was levels above the wingers at Chelsea. So directly selling players to rivals, is that a good, deal for Man City?
Just the one. The other is Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal is a. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal
I think the reason I say that right now is because I think Arsenal have made some good signings this summer,
but let's be honest, they're not going to rival Manchester City this season. They might eventually, but see, Jesus wanted more game time. Sterling wanted more regular starts. So I understand why they have let go of these two. Sure, you might say with Chelsea rivals, but the reality, Chelsea was the only club who were willing to pay that much. And one thing I mean, we have to credit Manchester City. We spoke a lot about, initially they spend. I mean, the amount of money they recoup. Like Ferran Torres, 50 odd million. Now Jesus, so much money. Sterling, so much money. Bloody Zinchenko, they might end up getting 30 million,
Yeah.
So the way Manchester City sell is amazing. So, and they know how to sell. If Manchester City wouldn't, with all due respect to Chelsea Football Club, Manchester City would not sell Sterling to Liverpool.
Yeah, agreed.
120%.
Agreed, yeah.
But to Chelsea, they've taken that gamble. But the gamble is backed by Haaland and Alvarez. So, man, if Haaland clicks, it's scary. It's scary, man.
It really is. I'm thinking about Chelsea, where we don't have Lukaku anymore. Werner isn't liking the situation at Chelsea right now. Kai Havertz isn't, playing really well. Batshuayi, I don't really have a lot of hopes for him to play 30 odd games a season and score 15, 20 goals. So Chelsea without an actual real number 9 who's in form, I am, heading into that season, I am very scared of what Liverpool and Man City can do. But the only thing that I'm positive about is Chelsea struggling in November, December every season, no longer because of the World Cup. So I'm banking on that. We talked about this last year a lot on the podcast, and he said, "What if we just don't play games on November and December?" And this year it's not happening. So this is the only thing that's
you're not gonna drop points there. You're not gonna drop points there.
If you don't play on those months,
gone for Divock Origi, man, like the man, the myth, the legend. But
I think this year it might just be that we go without a real striker or a real number 9, because we've had some really bad experiences with in that position in general, and it's a bit tricky because we generally do play 3 at the back, which means we've got not a lot of options to play with in the front 3, with Mount always taking up that one spot. You've got to rotate between Kai Havertz and a left winger at times, so it's almost
Pulisic
like
could be someone who you guys
we really want him to kick off, because it's been a long time, and his injuries are really concerning a lot of fans now, because we paid quite a lot of money for him, and it's like every game we go into, we find out, oh, Pulisic is injured again. He's got a niggle in training. He's got warm up hamstring pull or something. So really looking forward to seeing hopefully Pulisic for the whole season. I'm hoping, and even against Charlotte, he played quite well that goal as well, even though it was a sitter. But your quick thoughts in general in Europe, Bayern Munich selling Lewandowski, getting Sadio Mane on the other hand, Barca buying out every player on the transfer window while they're in a debt of 1.3 billion. It's almost like Chelsea want a player and Barca's like, nope, let us have a go at that player and see if we can bid for them. And at the same time, PSG with their stars and Real Madrid. Your quick thoughts on these teams in Europe and what they pose in the Champions League?
I have a great equation with Real Madrid supporters here in India. Because I really bond with them a lot. I get along with them. What a great club. But I'm starting to dislike them a lot because 15 odd games I have seen as a person, as a fan in person. 3 of them we've lost, and all 3 of them have been against Real Madrid. So I'm getting sick of them now. Real Madrid have signed Tchouaméni. Vinicius has signed a new long-term deal. There's only one thing that probably Real Madrid can focus on, is that right wing position where Rodrigo plays at times. Valverde played in the Champions League final. That is something they might look to strengthen, but I think in general they are solid. They've signed Rudiger on a free as well.
Rudiger's
So Real Madrid, amazing. PSG, I don't know what to expect of them. I really don't. They've got a new manager in, so it's going to be interesting to see how he works with that team. It's about time that they win the Champions League, just like Manchester City. They have been building for it for so long now. I mean, come on, when you have Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, Sergio Ramos,
Donnarumma.
Yeah, they have Gini Wijnaldum in midfield as well. But they've got Verratti, who's so fit, good, bro. Hakimi is a really good player as well. They have the personnel. They should be doing. I really don't know what to expect of them. Bayern Munich are going to be the team to beat, if you ask me, in Europe this season. De Ligt, Gravenberch, Mazraoui, Sadio Mane. They might sign Leimer from RB Leipzig. It's going to be fascinating to see how they play now without Lewandowski. They've got Sane, they've got Koeman, they've got Mane, they've got Gnabry, who signed a new long-term deal. They've got Muller, they've got Goretzka, they've got Kimmich. Their core, Alphonso Davies. I mean, their core is unbelievable. And Nagelsmann is also, someone who has a point to prove. Sure, he won the league, but that loss against Villarreal, I'm sure, is going to haunt him. It still haunts him. But I think Bayern Munich could be or should be the team to beat in Europe this season. And Barca, your guess is as good as mine, brother. I don't know where and how and what is happening. Uh, they can't pay De Jong his wages, but they're spending so much elsewhere. Sure, I'm sure there is some sort of uh, some factors why they are not paying De Jong, but now if they sign Jules Koundé as well, I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen. How is it happening?
So I think with Jules Koundé, it's quite frustrating because with Chelsea, he's had personal terms agreed since last year of June, and we've been hearing about Jules Koundé for quite a while now, and it's always been Chelsea leading, and now that finally we're coming in close to finalizing a price, Sevilla is happy with 55 million pounds, something around that range with add-ons. It's like, oh, Sevilla are just waiting for Barcelona's offer. They're going to give it a few days and see what Barcelona, even though they don't want to sell to Barcelona, and Koundé seems like he wants to go to Barcelona but not Chelsea. It is quite frustrating to see that. And with Barca just coming in, like the Rafinha deal, Chelsea were leading in that as well, and they got that done. There were some rumors about Lewandowski, not strong ones, but it is quite surprising to see. Oh, wait, you've got money, but then they're also talking about, oh, let's sell Frankie De Jong, and that's going to clear up 30 million in wages for a year. So, as far as top 5 in Europe, Barca, I don't know where they're getting their money from, or Spotify. Every time you listen to something, every time you guys are listening to this podcast on Spotify, you're giving Barca some extra cash on the side. But yeah,
but Mohammed, it just feels like, as an outsider, of course, we don't know the finances,
yeah,
we don't know how they're balancing the books. They are in debt. Sure, they've signed a deal. Sure, they've given the TV rights for X amount of years. They've apparently got 750 million, but it feels like a big gamble, man. They have to be careful. But the good thing for them is that Laporta is someone who loves the club and is known for managing the club in a great way. So if he is in charge and so many things are happening, so I think they know, of course, they know what they're doing, but they might be all right. But I just, as a football purist, I'm kind of scared because shit can go downhill.
yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm not saying I hope it happens, but we've seen weird things happen in football, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. And to see Barcelona in this position, even if you're just a general football fan, someone like Barcelona, one of the biggest names in club football, to be in this position is quite surprising. And the mismanagement over the last couple of years since Messi's left has been horrific at Barcelona. So as a football fan, yes, I want to see Barcelona right there at the top competing again. And I think with Barca, what they've also implemented a strategy which I quite like is they've been targeting a lot more free transfers, which really are helping them. Christensen being one of them, from Chelsea FC. Yeah, that was a big. I'm still in shock that Chelsea just let two world-class defenders at Chelsea leave for free, and then we had to pay for Koulibaly and now Koundé. I think let's move on to the other kind of challengers. I'm not sure if there'll be title challengers, but at least top 4 challengers in terms of Tottenham Hotspurs and Man United. Tottenham. The reason I'm scared about Tottenham is what Conte did at Chelsea in one season, and the preseason training videos and the matches that I've seen so far of Tottenham. They look promising, and if they've gone all out this transfer window, it's unlike Tottenham to spend this much in a transfer window.
Yeah, I'm sure Pochettino must be thinking, what wrong did I do, man? Why didn't I get this financial backing? But they've addressed quite a few issues. Perisic, what a signing, bro. Sure, he's in his early 30s, but I really like Perisic, and I think Conte is going to get the best out of him. Spence from Nottingham Forest, I saw him play against Liverpool in that FA Cup game, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? Amazing. Bissouma in midfield, for the money that they've paid, 20 odd million. Great signing. Richarlison, of course, being a Liverpool fan, I don't like his antics a lot, but he's the guy who will run for you till the end. He's a nuisance. You will love him to be in your team, hate him if he's not. And Longley on loan from Barcelona. So they have addressed all the issues. They've got 5 bodies. Um, they've got Conte, bro. You know, there's this
That's the scary part. Like
yeah,
the players are good, but
yeah.
it's Conte which I'm more concerned about, because what he can bring out of those players.
Mohammed, the thing is, there's a saying, Spurs being Spursy will fuck it up, but Conte, they've got Conte.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like he is their manager, but Conte is not Spursy. Conte is that ruthless guy who
I mean,
will.
if he can win the league with Zappacosta, Alonso at wing backs, then he can do anything.
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't Moses your wing back?
We had Zappacosta in there as well at times. I remember that goal that he scored in the Champions League. But yeah, Moses, I wouldn't say Moses was a bad wing back, which is why I didn't mention him on there.
Exactly, but still,
Moses was yeah.
Now he's got Perisic, who's world class. He's got Spence, who he can make world class. He's got Son, Kane, who are world class. Richarlison, I'm sure he'll get the best out of him. Højbjerg is a very underrated defensive midfielder, man. I really like Højbjerg. So I think Tottenham are gonna, they did screw our title challenge with that draw. They got 2 wins against Manchester City. So I mean, they are good in big games, and with these signings, I think they can make things very interesting. I think they're gonna be in the title race. I think they're gonna be in the title race for sure. I get that feeling they are gonna have a massive say.
Yeah, I think agreed with that, because Conte, it's Conte. I think if you want to describe Tottenham, it's Conte. He can switch things around and get the best out of every single player he's signed. And you're right in saying that they've addressed these issues that they've had the past few seasons, and I think this is why they've kind of spent what they've spent this transfer window, because they want to be up there. They don't just want to be a top 4 team anymore, and they want to compete for trophies and try not to mess it up as they do it at Spurs. But Man United,
being a World Cup, being a World Cup year could actually work for them. The World Cup being in the middle could actually work for them.
I think that's what my theory is, that it's going to help and also at the same time affect a lot of teams. And this is why teams are spending a lot more this transfer window and trying to have a depth, because they know there are bound to be injuries, there are bound to be fatigues. World Cup, in the top 6 teams playing in almost 4 competitions, 5 competitions year long around. It's no longer going to be a game a week until December, and then they decide let's go to 2 games a week. It's going to be 2 games a week every single week before the season ends. With that, a new coach at Man United as well, Erik ten Hag, coming in, Lisandro Martinez, their star signing in defense this season. Do you think they're up for the challenge? Maybe Ronaldo shows up this season and does something for them.
Christian Eriksen also, I think, is going to be is going to have a massive say for Man United this season, because their midfield, has been the weak link. Sure, defensively they have struggled. We've seen Martial. Sure, it's pre-season, but he scored 3 goals. Is it a confidence issue with Martial? I don't know, but Ten Hag certainly seems to be getting the best out of him. I think in Ten Hag, they have got the right manager. We speak about big clubs, right? Everywhere in the world, you look at Real Madrid, they've got Ancelotti. You look at Chelsea, they've got Tuchel. You look at Liverpool, they have Jurgen Klopp. You look at Manchester City, they've got Pep. Nagelsmann is a very good manager as well at Bayern Munich. I'm thinking of big teams. Allegri at Juventus, historic teams as well. Pioli has done well at Milan. So it feels now they have someone with an identity who will take them forward. Manchester United is, in my humble opinion, they will not win the league in the next year or 2.
No, I agree with that.
But they have the right manager to set them up and win. Erik ten Hag is someone who has a clear philosophy. We've seen Ajax, they played great football. Even when they lost, last season against Benfica in the Champions League. I was covering that. Boy, they thrashed Benfica, man. I don't know
Yeah.
how they didn't qualify. You could see them play so well. So he will implement that philosophy. He commands respect, something unfortunately Ole didn't. Uh, I don't know the Ronaldo issue, bro. I mean, the thing is, even if he stays, he's not been there for the preseason,
I
man.
think he had the way I look at it is he has to stay because Chelsea have declined, Real Madrid have declined, Atletico they're not saying no fully, but
Bayern have
Ronaldo,
declined.
Bayern have declined. So every club has declined, and it doesn't. I'm not trying to shade on Ronaldo and say it's because he's finished or anything, but that's just in general because of the salaries that these guys get. Ronaldo, Messi. I'm sure even if Messi would have come to the transfer market right now, no one's going to take him unless he's ready to take a pay cut. No one's going to take him if he's ready to come for a free transfer or something, because clubs now do not think a year ahead. They think 5 years ahead, 6 years ahead. The signings Liverpool's making with the young players, the signings Chelsea's trying to make in terms of Koundé. We're not just thinking about next season. We're trying to think for the next 5-6 seasons. You want to make sure that 60 million you spend on the player works for the next few years, not just for an immediate. Yes, Ronaldo might come in, make an immediate impact for a year, but then what are you going to do after that? You're going to have to find another one to work with.
See, I mean, Ronaldo is, alongside Messi, the greatest that we have seen in our generation play. So you cannot, I mean, I understand where Ronaldo is coming from because he is so number driven in a great way, you know, because he gets the best out of everyone in the team. But he's going to be seeing Benzema, he's going to be seeing Salah, he's going to be seeing Messi, he's going to be seeing Lewandowski play in the Champions League. And he's going to be like, bro, I'm 37, I don't want to miss out. So I can understand where Ronaldo is coming from. But then again, you know, the money that you mentioned is so important. But do you want someone who is clearly thinking about himself? You know, the move is for himself to play in the Champions League, which he deserves to because of who he is, and he's still on top of his game. But as a club, you know, money aside, you have to also think about this because it becomes about Cristiano Ronaldo, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're right on that, because the reason he came to Man United was because he thought there's a plan for the next few years. I can come in, help that team out, and, you know, not just an emotional connection, but also go on and maybe get them another Premier League title or the Champions League title, and you know, become one of the greats at Man United if he's not already not one of the greats there. With that, just before we end it quickly, your quick thoughts on the Premier League for next season, and you know, the top, let's say the top four in the Premier League and the teams to look out for in the Champions League.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction in the Champions League. I think Bayern are gonna win it. That's my prediction for the Champions League. Although Jurgen Klopp has said book your tickets for Istanbul, so I hope Liverpool have a good run, and I think Liverpool have a good run in Europe once again. Premier League, it's tough to look past Manchester City, man. It's very tough to look past Manchester City. If I know that Chelsea and Liverpool are gonna be knocking on the door. If Manchester City have a slow start, I think Liverpool can win it. I'm not saying Liverpool are the underdog, no. Because Liverpool have now spent the money, have signed the players that they wanted. Liverpool have a great team. Liverpool have a great manager. Liverpool have a settled team. Sure, replacing Mane will be tough. But the edge is with Manchester City. I would say that the edge is with Manchester City. The only reason why I'm not including Chelsea in this conversation is because of what you mentioned up top. And also letting go of Rudiger and Christensen and Koulibaly. Sure, he's a great signing. But if Aspi and Alonso leave as well, there's a bit of uncertainty at the moment over there. Your squad doesn't seem complete at the moment. Sure, it will be eventually. But right now, when we're recording this, I don't see a complete Chelsea squad. So for that reason, I'm not including Chelsea in the conversation, but they might just end up signing a few good players and they will be, I'm sure they will. But edge to City, hoping they have a slow start so that Liverpool wins. But I think City to win it.
Yeah, with the Chelsea, with your thoughts on Chelsea, I completely agree with that because we've we've made those two big signings and we're gonna make the signing of Koundé as well, but it's just direct replacements for who's left. And with Sterling, yes, he's an addition, but we've got someone like Ziyech, Werner, and hudson-odoi as well at the club, who are not performing to the level Tuchel would have want week in, week out from them. And we can't just rely on one or two players to do the job every game. We used to do that back then with Hazard. He used to, when he used to start against the big clubs, especially, he used to make sure that he had game-changing performances. And we don't have that at Chelsea right now. Yes, you can do that in Champions League games where you've got this one player who changes the game for you because it's a one-off game or a two-leg game. But in a 38-game Premier League challenge,
I'm sorry to cut you short, but Broha's name came in my head.
I think the situation with Broha is that Tuchel doesn't want him to go, but Broha doesn't see a future at Chelsea right now, which is why a lot of Chelsea fans, we do want to see Broha because his spell at Southampton was quite impressive, even though the systems and the setups are quite different from Chelsea. He is a promising striker, and it's one of those where we want to convince him to stay, but he thinks with Kai Havertz being there playing regularly and Werner getting a higher chance of getting selected over Broha at the moment, he seems like it's fit that he now leaves on a permanent, but Chelsea are trying to keep him. And it's even with Broha in there, I still do agree like Chelsea might close the gap, but they're nowhere close to the level that Man City have been or Liverpool have been last season, where every game these two clubs walked into, they said, here we are, we're here for 3 points. Chelsea at some games felt like we were just here for the draw, or we're happy to take away 1 point from a game against Man City or Liverpool because we know they're better than us. And that's the mentality that Chelsea have right now. And you're right in saying with Alonso leaving, with Aspi leaving, and not having replacements right now as of today, it is concerning that we are moving in the transfer window, but not fast enough to cover up all the bases that we're losing out on, and then the improvements that we need to make for next season. So I do really see Chelsea doing well, but at the same time, I feel like this could be one of those seasons where we might even, if things go wrong in this window, we might even end up out of the top five, even with Tuchel in there, top four. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Chelsea with the mentality and Tuchel, they will be in the top four. But I get your skepticism that because Man United have a new manager, Tottenham have spent that much, Liverpool and City, being Liverpool and City of the recent years, it could be tough, but I think Chelsea will be there.
Yeah, because the reason I'm a bit skeptical is because when I look at the points table from last season and I see Chelsea all the way till December were leading, and then a few months from there, and we finished only 3 points above Tottenham. We finished 4 points above Arsenal. So if we would have lost a game, we would have been below Tottenham or Arsenal at any point. So it's one of those where I'm really hoping that our players click and whoever we've got at the club, we click and things happen. I'm not going to keep you for too long. I was good. Sorry.
No, don't worry. I was just saying that at the end, you guys faltered because you knew that you're going to be in the top four. It kind of felt like that as an outsider. Chelsea is just floating with the thought that they would give Arsenal and Tottenham both an opportunity to finish in the top four. But I think Chelsea were pretty comfortable. I mean, at the start of the season, like 10 or 12 odd games, everyone thought that Chelsea was the team to beat, right?
Yeah.
So, so if Chelsea have a great start, you never know, man. I'm sure we are speaking about, Lukaku is gone, Batshuayi, but still, if you look at the team, I mean, they still have some pretty amazing players. So if they click, if they have a good start, if Tuchel probably gets his 1 or 2 more signings, I genuinely feel Chelsea, for sure, top four is now going to be stressful for them, man.
Yeah, I think I'm optimistic, but at the same time, want to wait for the transfer window or to see a couple of more signings before I kind of make my final predictions and say, right, this is my set in stone prediction
So
for the season.
who do you think is going to win the you asked me, put me on the spot. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League and the Premier League?
I think not Liverpool. I think Real Madrid have got a good chance. I think Real Madrid still have a good chance with Rudiger coming in, Tchouaméni, and Benzema the way he's been performing. So I would put Real Madrid and Bayern, Bayern up there as well. Maybe Liverpool, they tend to do well in Europe. Maybe another loss to Real Madrid would mean that you cut off Real Madrid fans. But no, I think, and in terms of the Premier League, it's Man City. I think they're far ahead of everyone right now, unless an injury happens to one of their star players, and then we can talk about Liverpool being in there. But Chelsea, United, all of these teams far to go for us in this transfer window before even the season starts, for us to even think about a title win next season.
Fair.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Manas, for coming on the podcast. Thank you for giving us your time. And for those of you watching, please follow all of our social media pages. I'll link them in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on an audio platform, they'll be in the comment section below. Add us to your playlist. It really helps us a lot. And make sure to leave a like rating and subscribe. And to get the latest transfer news on Chelsea FC, as well as the big clubs from Premier League and around Europe, follow us on our social media pages. Thank you, Manas, once again for coming on. Hope to see you back on the podcast soon when the season starts. Maybe even we bring on some Man City and Arsenal fans and we have a debate.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Whenever you want me, man, I'll be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.